The Milky Way nebula starts to form. The first star in the Milky Way galaxy forms. Atoms may form near the surface of planets and stars. Living objects in the Milky Way galaxy reach another star using a ship. The first globular cluster of 100,000 stars in the Milky Way galaxy. The star Earth orbits forms. Planets form around our star. Like the star, they are red hot with liquid rock and metals on the surface. Lighter atoms move to the surface of the planets. Larger planets are surrounded by gas. The moon of Earth is captured. Planet Earth cools. Molten liquid rock turns into a solid crust. Water condenses and falls to the surface, filling the lowest parts of the land to make the first Earth oceans, lakes, and rivers. Start of the Precambrian, the Hadean eon. Larger molecules form on Earth, like amino acids, phosphates, and sugars, the components of living objects. The initial building blocks of living objects are easily formed, but assembling them into longer chain molecules or polymers is more difficult. Possibly all proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids are strictly the products of living objects. Nucleic acids form on Earth. Ribonucleic acid, RNA, may be the first nucleic acid to form. One of these RNA molecules may be the ancestor of all of life on Earth. The first proteins on Earth. Transfer RNA molecules evolve tRNA and link amino acids into proteins using other RNA molecules, messenger or mRNA, as a template. A protein can copy RNA. This protein is called an RNA polymerase. For the first time, a nucleic acid functions both as a template for building proteins with the help of tRNA molecules and also as a template for building other nucleic acid molecules. The ribosome evolves. First ribosomal RNA, rRNA. The ribosome may function as a protocell, providing a platform for more efficient protein production. A single RNA may contain all the instructions needed to make more ribosomes. Ribosomes are the cellular organelles that carry out protein synthesis through a process called translation. The first deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA molecule. A protein evolves that allows DNA to be assembled from RNA. A protein can copy DNA molecules, a DNA polymerase. Transcription, a protein assembles RNA from DNA. The first cell on Earth, a bacterium. DNA is surrounded by a membrane made of proteins. The first cytoplasm. This cell may form in either fresh or salt water, near the sunlit water surface, or near underwater volcanoes on the ocean floor. DNA protected by cytoplasm is more likely to survive and be copied. Start of binary cell division. This cell structure forms the basis of all future cells of every living object on Earth. Cells make the first lipids on Earth, fats, oils, waxes. A phospholipid bilayer evolves around the cell. Operins allow selective protein assembly. Facilitated diffusion. Proteins in the cell membrane allow only certain molecules to enter the cell. Cellular respiration. Glycolysis evolves in the cytoplasm. Cells can make ATP from glucose. ATP is the molecule that drives most cellular work. Fermentation evolves. Cells can make lactic acid. Fermentation of ethanol evolves. Active transport evolves. Proteins transport molecules into and out of the cytoplasm. Prokaryote flagellum, archaea, also called archaebacteria, evolve. The eubacteria hypothermophiles evolve. Aquifex, Thermatoga, Archaea Crenarchaeota, Cephalobus, Archaea Euryarchaeota, Methanogens, Halobacteria, earliest cell response to light. The first autotrophic cells, cells that can produce some of their own food. Photosynthesis. Bacteria use light particles to convert carbon dioxide gas and an electron donor like hydrogen sulfide into glucose, water, and sulfur, also called carbon fixation. This is the ancestor of photosystem 1. Photosynthesis, photosystem 2 evolves. Cells emit free oxygen. Bacteria use light particles to convert carbon dioxide gas and water into glucose, releasing oxygen gas in the process. This is the main system responsible for producing the oxygen now in the air of Earth. End of Hadean, start of Archean eon. Filamentous multicellularity evolves in prokaryotes. Photosynthetic bacteria grow in filaments. Cells stay fastened together after cell division. Cell differentiation evolves in filamentous prokaryotes, creating organisms with different kinds of cells. Nitrogen fixation. Cells can make nitrogen compounds like ammonia from nitrogen gas in the air. Aerobic cellular respiration. First aerobic or oxygenic cell. These cells use oxygen to convert glucose into carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Oldest physical evidence for life. Ratio of carbon-13 to carbon-12 in grains of ancient minerals. Life uses the lighter carbon-12 isotope. Oldest sediment, the Banded Iron Formation, begins. Banded Iron Formation is sedimentary rock that spans from 3.8 to 1.8 billion years ago, made of iron-rich silicates with alternating layers of black-colored reduced iron and red-colored oxidized iron, and represents a seasonal rise and fall of free oxygen in the ocean, possibly linked to photosynthetic organisms. Oldest fossil evidence of life. Stromatolites. Oldest fossils of an organism, similar to cyanobacteria. 2.8 billion years will pass before the first animal evolves. Earliest fossils of coccoid, spherical bacteria. Prokaryote reproduction by budding. Earliest acritarch fossils, unicellular microfossils with uncertain affinity. These acritarchs are also the earliest possible eukaryote fossils. Eubacteria formicutes evolve. Gram-positive bacteria, cause of botulism, tetanus, anthrax. First endospores. The ability to form endospores evolves in Firmicutes. An endospore is a tough, reduced, dry form of a bacterium that can be revived after long periods of time. Eubacteria, proteobacteria evolve. Rickettsia, ancestor of all mitochondria, gonorrhea, salmonella, E. coli. Gender and sex conjugation evolve in Escherichia coli bacteria. Conjugation is the exchange of DNA plasmids by a donor male bacterium through a P-less to a recipient female bacterium. Proteins that can cut or connect strands of DNA evolve. The first virus evolves. These cells depend on the DNA duplicating in protein production systems of other cells to copy themselves. Eubacteria planktomycetes, or planktobacteria. Eubacteria actinobacteria, gram-positive, source of streptomycin. Eubacteria spirochetes, syphilis, Lyme disease. Eubacteria bacteroidetes. Eubacteria chlamydia evolve. Eubacteria chlorobi, green sulfur bacteria. Eubacteria verrucomicrobia. Endo and exocytosis evolve. Cells can now eat other cells. In endocytosis, the plasma membrane folds inward to bring substances into the cell. In exocytosis, substances contained in vesicles are released from the cell. Eukaryotic cell, the first cell with a nucleus, the first protist. The nucleus may develop from the infolding of plasma membrane. In prokaryotic cells, the DNA is not membrane enclosed, while in eukaryotic cells, most of the DNA is contained in a nucleus. Eukaryotic cells are generally much larger than prokaryotic cells. Unlike prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells have a cytoskeleton. Eukaryotic cells may have mitochondria and plastids, which prokaryotic cells lack. DNA in prokaryotic cells is usually a single circular chromosome, while DNA in the nucleus of eukaryotes contains linear chromosomes. Like prokaryotes, the cell is probably haploid, a single unique DNA. Most eukaryotes are diploid, having two sets of DNA. All protists, fungi, animals, and plant cells descend from this common eukaryotic cell. Earliest molecular fossil evidence of eukaryotes, styrene molecules. The endoplasmic reticulum evolves, a membrane system that extends from the nucleus, important in the synthesis of proteins and lipids. Cytoskeleton forms in eukaryote cytoplasm. The eukaryote flagellum and cilia evolve. The circular chromosome in the eukaryote nucleus changes into linear chromosomes. Eukaryote Golgi apparatus evolves, packages proteins and lipids into vesicles for delivery to targeted destinations. The nucleolus evolves. The nucleolus is a sphere in the nucleus that makes ribosomal RNA. Mitosis evolves in eukaryote cells. Mitosis is the process in eukaryotic cell division in which the duplicated chromosomes are separated and the nucleus divides, resulting in two new nuclei, each of which contains an identical copy of the parental chromosomes. Mitosis is usually immediately followed by division of the cytoplasm. Eukaryote sex evolves. Two identical cells fuse, isogamy. First diploid cell, first zygote, increase in genetic variety. Because of sex, two cells with different DNA can mix, providing more genetic variety. Having two chromosome sets always provides a backup copy of important genes. All sexual species alternate between haploid and diploid. This begins the haplontic life cycle. Mitosis only occurs in the haploid phase. The only diploid cell is the zygote. Meiosis evolves. One-step meiosis, a single-cell division of a diploid cell into two haploid cells. Meiosis is similar to mitosis but reduces the number of chromosomes from diploid to haploid, making gametes in animals and spores in plants. Gender in eukaryotes evolves. Anisogamy, sex, cell and nucleus fusion between two cells that are different in size or shape. Oogamy, a form of anisogamy, evolves in protists. Sex between a flagellated gamete and an unflagellated gamete. Two-step meiosis, diploid DNA copies, and then the cell divides twice into 4 haploid cells. Eubacteria Deinococcus thermus. Eubacteria cyanobacteria, ancestor of all plastids. Eubacteria chloroflexi, green non-sulfur bacteria. End of the Archean and start of the Proterozoic eon. The Proterozoic spans from 2,500 to 542 million years ago and represents 42% of Earth's history. Bacteria live on land. Start of 200 million year ice age. The oldest red beds, iron oxide formed on land, began here and are also evidence of more free oxygen in the air of Earth. A parasitic bacterium closely related to Rickettsia, an aerobic proteobacteria, is captured by a eukaryote and through endosymbiosis becomes the mitochondria. Mitochondria are organelles in most eukaryotic cells and are where cellular respiration occurs and most of the ATP is produced. Earliest large filamentous fossil, Grippania. Grippania spiralis is about 10 centimeters long and is thought to be either a green alga or a large cyanobacterium. If eukaryote, Grippania would be the earliest eukaryote fossil. End of the banded iron formation. First homeobox genes evolve. These genes regulate the building of major body parts in algae, plants, fungi, and animals. The ancestor of all living eukaryotes divides into bicont and unicont descendants. Biconts lead to all chromalveolates, excavates, rhizaria, and plants. Uniconts lead to all amoebozoa, animals, and fungi. Protists amoebozoa, amoebas and slime molds, feeding using pseudopods. Colonialism, where cells form a colony, evolves for the first time in eukaryotes. First plastids. Cyanobacteria form plastids through symbiosis within a eukaryote cell. Like mitochondria, these organelles copy themselves and are not made by the cell DNA. First plant, ancestor of all green and red algae and land plants. This begins the plant kingdom. This first plant is unicellular. Protists opistheconts, ancestor of fungi, coenoflagellates, and animals. Plant Glaucophyta. Plants Chlorophyta evolve. Green algae, ancestor of volvox, sea lettuce, spirogyra, and stoneworts. Plant red algae evolves. Rhodophyta. Protists excavates, includes parabasalids and diplomonads like Giardia. Filamentous multicellularity in eukaryotes evolves. Differentiation in multicellular eukaryote. Gamete or spore cells and somatic cells. Unlike gamete cells, somatic cells are asexual, non-fusing. Start of death by aging. Mitosis of diploid cells evolves. Haplodiplontic life cycle. Mitosis occurs in both haploid and diploid life stages. A captured red alga through endosymbiosis becomes a plastid in the ancestor of all chromalveolates. This is a secondary plastid endosymbiosis where an algae cell is captured instead of a cyanobacterium. Protists chromalveolates. Ancestor of Chromista, cryptophytes, haptophytes, and stromatophiles, and alveolates. Earliest certain eukaryote fossils and eukaryote filamentous multicellularity. Rhodophyta, red algae fossils. First fungi. This begins the fungi kingdom. Like animals, fungi are heterotrophic, cannot photosynthesize, and so must feed on other living things. Protists alveolates, ancestor of all ciliates, apicomplexans, and dinoflagellates. Oldest extant fungi phylum, Microsporidia. Protists dinoflagellates. Excavate discicristates, ancestor of protists which have mitochondria with discoidal-shaped cristae. Includes euglenids, leishmanias, trympanosomes, and acracid slime molds. A eukaryote eye evolves, the first three-dimensional response to light. The earliest eye probably evolves from a plastid in a unicellular eukaryote. Protists stromatophiles, also called heteroconts, ancestor of all brown and golden algae, diatoms, and oomycota. Protists mesomycetozoa, also called drips. Protists oomycota, water molds. Protists rhizaria, ancestor of all radiolaria, foraminifera, and cercozoa. Fungi zygomycota, bread molds, pin molds. Protists ciliates, paramecium. Protists apicomplexa, malaria. Protists coenoflagellates. Coenoflagellates are the closest relatives to the animals and may be direct ancestors of sponges. Multicellularity evolves in a free-moving protist. This allows larger free-moving organisms to evolve. Diplontic life cycle. Organism is predominantly diploid. Mitosis in the haploid phase does not occur. The first animal and first metazoan, sponges, porifera. Metazoans are multicellular and have differentiation. Their cells perform different functions. There are only 3 major kinds of metazoans: sponges, cnidarians, and bilaterians. Sponges have different cell types. Some form a body wall, some secrete skeleton, some contract, and some digest food. All sponge cells are totipotent, capable of regrowing a new sponge. Male gonad, testis or testicle, evolves in a sponge. Start of 60 million year Varinger Ice Age. Cells that group as tissues that are arranged in layers evolve in metazoans. The metazoans Placozoa evolve. Fungi Chytridiomycota includes chytridiomycetes. First nerve cell, neuron, and nervous system evolves in the ancestor of the ctenophores and cnidarians. This will lead to the first ganglion and brain. Earliest touch and sound detection and memory. Muscle cells evolve in metazoans. Both the earliest known muscle and nerve cells are found in ctenophores and cnidarians. Closable mouth evolves in metazoans. Female gonad, ovary, evolves in metazoans. Animals' ctenophores evolve. Comb jellies. Animals' cnidarians evolve. Ancestor of sea anemones, sea pens, corals, and jellyfish. Earliest animal eye. Start of Ediacaran soft-bodied invertebrate fossils. The sudden appearance of Ediacaran fossils may relate to the accumulation of free oxygen in the atmosphere and sea, which may permit an oxidative metabolism. Bilateral species evolve. Two-sided symmetry. Earliest animal brain. First trypoblastic species. Third embryonic layer, the mesoderm. In most bilaterians, food enters in one end, the mouth, and waste exits at the opposite end, the anus. There is an advantage for sense organs like light, sound, touch, smell, and taste detection to be located on the head near the mouth to help with getting food. Earliest extant bilaterian, Acelomorpha, Acela flatworms, and Nemertodermatida. Acelomorpha lack a digestive tract, anus, and coelom. An intestine evolves in a bilaterian. Cylindrical gut, anus, and throughput of food evolves in a bilaterian, found in all bilaterians except Acelomorpha and Platyhelminthes. The genital pore, vagina, and uterus evolve in a bilaterian. The penis evolves in a bilaterian. End of Varinger Ice Age. Fluid-filled cavity, the coelom, evolves in a bilaterian. The first circulatory system, blood vessels and blood, evolve in a bilaterian. Cnidarians and flatworms are no more than 2 sheets of tissue thick and so allow gas exchange and nutrient distribution by diffusion, but larger animals with thicker tissues require a circulatory system to distribute materials. Bilaterians protostomes evolve, ancestor of all Ecdysozoa and Laphatrachozoa. Bilaterians deuterostomes evolve, ancestor of all echinoderms, hemichordates, and chordates. The first shell or skeleton evolves, in ciliates. Skeletons evolve independently in different groups. Bilaterians Chetognatha evolve, arrowworms. Earliest teeth, animals start to eat each other. The evolution of teeth and animal predation starts an arms race that rapidly transforms ecosystems around the Earth. Deuterostome hemichordates evolve, terebranchs, acornworms. Adult terebranchs are sessile, fastening to solid structures, but the younger or larval form is free-swimming and is thought to have evolved into tunicates and then the first fish. Deuterostome phylum Chordata evolves. Chordates are a very large group that include all tunicates, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. Chordates get their name from the notochord, the cartilage rod that runs along the back of the animal in the embryo if not in the adult. The ancestor of all chordates evolves upside down. Unlike earlier invertebrates, this ancestor and all vertebrates have their nerve cord near their back and their heart near their front. Earliest extant chordate, tunicates evolve, sea squirts. Earliest animal shell, or skeleton. Earliest evidence of animals eating other animals, predation. Appearance of small shelly fossils and deep burrows correlated with a decline in stromatolites, possibly from feeding. Protostomes Ecdysozoa evolve. Ecdysozoa are animals that molt, lose their outer skin as they grow. This is the ancestor of roundworms and arthropods, which includes insects and crustaceans. Protostomes Laphatrachozoa evolve. Ancestor of rotifers, phoronids, brachiopods, entoprocs, bryozoans, platyhelminthes, gastrotrix, nemertea, mollusks, and annelids. First fish. Earliest extant fish, lancelets, first liver and kidney. Ecdysozoa aschelminthes, worms, nematodes and priapulids. Laphatrachozoa brachiopods. Segmentation evolves, body parts are repeated serially. End of the Precambrian. End of the Proterozoic and start of the Phanerozoic eon. Start of the Paleozoic era and the Cambrian period. The Cambrian radiation, or Cambrian explosion. The rapid diversification of multicellular animals between 542 and 530 million years ago that results in the appearance of many between 20 and 35 of the major phyla of animals, an increase of animals with shells. Lophotrachozoa platyhelminthes evolve, flatworms. Protists radiolaria, protists foraminifera. Lophotrachozoa nemertea, ribbon worms. Ecdysozoa tardigrades. Ecdysozoa onychophorans evolve. Onychophorans are a transition between worms and arthropods. They have segmented worm-like bodies but with appendages like arthropods. The first heart evolves in bilaterians. Lophotrachozoa mollusks evolve. The phylum Mollusca is the second largest animal phylum after the arthropods and is divided into 7 classes, 3 of which, Gastropoda, snails, bivalvia, clams and mussels, and Cephalopoda, squids and octopuses, are of major importance. Lophotrachozoa annelids, segmented worms. Ecdysozoa arthropods evolve. Arthropods can be compared to a segmented worm encased in a rigid exoskeleton. The phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Arthropods include the trilobites, the crustaceans, shrimps, crabs, and lobsters, the Myriapoda, centipedes and millipedes, the Chelicerata, arachnids and horseshoe crabs, and the insects. All arthropods have a segmented body covered by an exoskeleton containing chitin, which serves as both armor and as a surface for muscle attachment. Chordata vertebrates evolve. This subphylum contains most fishes and all amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. Vertebrates jawless fishes evolve. Agnatha. Arthropods Chelicerata, 8 legs, ancestor of horseshoe crabs, mites, spiders, and scorpions. Earliest color vision evolves in arthropods. Deuterostome echinoderms, sea cucumber, sea urchin, sand dollar, starfish. The arthropods trilobites evolve. Ancestor of all arthropod crustaceans, shrimps, crabs, lobsters, barnacles. Arthropods Myriapoda, centipedes and millipedes. End of the Cambrian and start of the Ordovician period. The Ordovician radiation. During the Ordovician, the number of genera will quadruple. Non-vascular plants evolve. Bryophyta, liverworts, hornworts, mosses. Plants live on land. Earliest fossil spores belonging to land plants. The first animals live on land. Arthropods Myriapoda, centipedes, and millipedes. The jawless fishes lampreys evolve. Jawed vertebrates evolve. Gnathostomata. This large group includes all jawed fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. First vertebrate teeth. The jaw evolves from parts of the gill skeleton. Jawed fishes chondrichthyes, cartilaginous fishes, ancestor of all sharks, rays, skates, and sawfishes. Earliest fungi on land, ancestor of all terrestrial fungi. Fungi glomeromycota, arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. Mass extinction caused by Ice Age. End of the Ordovician and start of the Silurian period. Vascular plants evolve, tracheophyta. Jawed fishes, bony fishes evolve, ray-finned fishes. The first lung evolves from the swim bladder in ray-finned fishes. Jawed fishes, lobe-finned fishes evolve. Coelacanths. Arthropods, hexapods. Arthropods with 6 legs, 3 pairs, includes all insects. Lobe-finned fishes, lungfishes. End of the Silurian and start of the Devonian period. Hexapods, insects. Bristletail and silverfish. Fungi Ascomycota, ancestor of yeasts, truffles, penicillium, and morels. Vascular plants, ferns evolve. Club mosses, ferns, and horsetails. Cartilaginous fishes, Selachii evolve. Ancestor of all sharks, includes great white, hammerhead, mako, tiger, and nurse sharks. The first forests, earliest large tree fossils. The first flying animal, an arthropod insect, ancestor of all winged insects. Pterygota, mayflies, damselflies, dragonflies. The first tetrapods, organisms with 4 feet, the amphibians, evolve in fresh water. The first vertebrate limbs, arms and legs, and fingers. Ancestor of caecilians, frogs, toads, and salamanders. Mass extinction caused by Ice Age. The first vertebrates live on land, an amphibian. Fungi Basidiomycota, ancestor of many mushrooms. Button, chanterelle, crimini, inaki, fly agaric, oyster, porcino, portabella, psilocybe, puffball, shiitake, wood ear, rusts and club fungi. The Neoptera, folding wing insects. End of the Devonian and start of the Carboniferous period. The first plant seed evolves, ancestor of all seed plants. The earliest fossil seed is from a seed fern, pteridosperm. Ray-finned fishes, sturgeons, and paddlefish. The Neoptera dictyoptera, ancestor of cockroaches, termites, and mantises. The hardshell egg evolves. The amniota, ancestor of reptiles, mammals, and birds. The hardshell egg is waterproof. This is the start of vertebrate internal fertilization because on land the egg cannot be fertilized as most fishes and amphibians do by a male swimming near the eggs and spraying them with sperm. The tetrapod amniota divide into the Sauropsida, which includes reptiles and birds, and the Synapsida, which includes mammals. The Sauropsids have two major lineages, the Parareptilia, turtles, and the Eureptilia, dinosaurs, crocodiles, and birds. The Synapsids also have two major lineages, Pelycosaurs, sail-backed, and Therapsids, mammal-like. The Synapsids Pelycosauria evolve, includes Edaphosaurus and Dimetrodon. Earliest extant amphibians, Caecilians evolve. Seed plants gymnosperms, ancestor of all cycads, ginkgos, and the conifers. The most primitive extant gymnosperms, the cycads, evolve now. The Neoptera orthoptera evolve, ancestor of crickets, grasshoppers, locusts, and walking sticks. Sauropsids reptiles evolve, ancestor of all turtles, crocodiles, pterosaurs, dinosaurs, and birds. Reptiles are a group of air-breathing amniotes with internal fertilization and scales covering part or all of their body. Like amphibians, the earliest reptiles are cold-blooded. Gymnosperms pinophyta, ancestor of the conifers, includes pine, fir, spruce, redwood, cedar, juniper, hemlock, larch, yew, and cypress. The Neoptera paraneoptera, ancestor of lice, thrips, and the hemiptera, piercing and sucking insects, cicadas, aphids, bedbugs, and stinkbugs. Neoptera holometabula, holometabolous insects, complete metamorphosis, ancestor of beetles, bees, true flies, and butterflies. Amphibians Anura, frogs and toads evolve. Stromonopoles, golden algae, Chrysophida, end of the Carboniferous and start of the Permian period. Holometabula coleoptera, beetles. The gymnosperms ginkgos evolve. Holometabula hymenoptera, bees, ants, and wasps. Synapsid therapsids evolve. Cynodonts. Protists Phaeophyta, brown algae, includes many seaweeds like the giant kelps. Protists diatoms. Earliest endothermic or warm-blooded and hair-growing animal. A therapsid. Endothermy is the physiological maintenance by a body of a constant temperature independent of the external environmental temperature. Hair for insulation is correlated to endothermy. Both birds and mammals are endothermic, also called warm-blooded, as opposed to many other vertebrates which are ectothermic or cold-blooded and cannot internally generate heat. Holometabula diptera, true flies, single pair of wings, ancestor of mosquito, gnat, fruit fly, and housefly. Largest mass extinction of history. End of the Paleozoic and start of the Mesozoic era, and the end of the Permian and start of the Triassic period. The supercontinent Pangaea forms. Protists haptophyta, coccolithophores. Reptiles dinosaurs evolve. Dinosaurs divide into two major lines, ornithischians, bird-hipped dinosaurs, and saurischians, lizard-hipped dinosaurs. Saurischian dinosaurs split into two major lines, the Sauropodomorpha and the Theropoda. Sauropodomorphs are divided into prosauropods and sauropods, are mostly plant-eating and include the large, long-necked dinosaurs like Apatosaurus. Theropod dinosaurs are bipedal and carnivorous and include Allosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, and Velociraptor. All birds descend from a theropod ancestor. Mammals evolve. First mammary gland. Ancestor of all ray-finned teleost fishes evolve. Reptiles testudines, turtles, tortoises, and terrapins. Reptiles tuataras. The first flying vertebrate, pterosaur. Reptiles iguania evolve. Iguanas, chameleons, and spiny lizards. Reptiles scleroglossa evolve. Snakes, skinks, and geckos. Teleosks, bony tongues. Mass extinction. End of the Triassic and start of the Jurassic period. Ornithischians Thyreophora evolve. Ancestor of the armored ankylosaurs and the plated stegosaurs. Teleosts, eels, and tarpons. Reptiles Crocodilia evolve. Crocodiles, alligators, and caimans. Sauropods evolve. Ancestor of the large, long-necked dinosaurs like Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and Diplodocus. Ornithischians Ornithopoda evolve. The duck-billed dinosaurs. Ancestor of the hadrosaurs. Teleosts, herrings, and anchovies. Supercontinent Pangaea splits into Laurasia and Gondwana. The northern part, Laurasia, will form North America and Europe. The southern part, Gondwana, will form South America and Africa. Holometabula lepidoptera evolve. Moths, butterflies, caterpillars. Earliest extant mammals, monotremes, evolve. Teleosts, carp, minnows, piranhas. Teleosts, salmon, trout, pike. Amphibians, salamanders evolve. Cartilaginous fishes, Botoidea evolve. Ancestor of all rays, skates, and sawfishes. Teleosts, lightfish, and dragonfish. Birds evolve. The first feather. Seed plants, angiosperms. The first flowering plant. Almost all grains, beans, nuts, fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices come from plants with flowers. Much of our clothing and many commercial dyes and drugs come from flowering plants. Angiosperms represent approximately 80% of all known green plants now living. The fruit is the ovary of a plant which encloses seeds. End of the Jurassic and start of the Cretaceous period. Earliest extant flower, Ambarella. Flowers, Nymphaeales, water lilies. The Ornithischian ceratopsian dinosaurs evolve. Ancestor of Triceratops. Ancestor of all marsupials. First nipple and breast. Birds in Antiornithes evolve. Flowers, magnoliads evolve. Ancestor of nutmeg, avocado, sassafras, cinnamon, black and white pepper, camphor, bay or laurel tree, and magnolia. Flowers, eudicots evolve, the largest lineage of flowers. The two main groups of the eudicots are the rosids and the asterids. Teleosts, perch, seahorses, flying fish, pufferfish, and barracuda. Teleosts, cod, anglerfish. The eutheria, placental mammals evolve. Neornithes evolve, modern birds, the most recent common ancestor of all living birds. Flowers, monocotyledons or monocots evolve, flowering plants that have a single cotyledon or seed leaf in the embryo. Monocots are the second largest lineage of flowers after the eudicots and include lilies, palms, orchids, and grasses. Flowers, basal eudicots evolve. Includes buttercup, clematis, poppy, macadamia, lotus, and sycamore. Flowers, core eudicots, cactus, caper, buckwheat, rhubarb, Venus flytrap, old world pitcher plants, beet, quinoa, spinach, grape plants. Ancestor of all placental mammals, Afrotheres evolves. Afrotheres originate in Africa and are the earliest extant placental mammals. Birds, ratites evolve. Ostrich, emu, cassowary, kiwis. Placental mammals, xenarthrans evolve. Ancestor of sloths, anteaters, and armadillos. Flowers, rosids evolve. Basal rosids include pomegranate, clove, guava, allspice, and eucalyptus. Rosids fabales evolve. Ancestor of beans, pea, peanut, soy, and lentil. Flowers, base monocots evolve. Ancestor of vanilla, orchid, asparagus, onion, garlic, agave, aloe, and lily. Monocots camelinids evolve. Palms, coconut, corn, rice, barley, oat, wheat, rye, sugarcane, bamboo, grass, pineapple, papyrus, turmeric, banana, ginger. Basal asterids, ericales, kiwi, ebony, persimmon, blueberry, cranberry, Brazil nut, New World pitcher plants, tea. Asterids, apiales evolve. Ancestor of dill, celery, cilantro, carrot, parsnip, fennel, parsley, and ivy. Asterids, asterales evolve. Ancestor of tarragon, daisy, artichoke, sunflower, lettuce, and dandelion. Rosids, malpighiales evolve. Ancestor of coca, rubber tree, cassava, poinsettia, willow, poplar, and aspen. Rosids, brassicales evolve. Ancestor of horseradish, mustard, cabbage, broccoli, radish, and papaya. Rosids, rosales evolve. Ancestor of hemp, hop, jackfruit, fig, strawberry, rose, raspberry, apple, pear, plum, cherry, peach, and almond. Asterids, gentianales evolve. Includes oleander and coffee. Asterids, solanales evolve. Ancestor of bell pepper, tomato, tobacco, potato, and eggplant. Rosids, cucurbitales evolve. Ancestor of melon, cucumber, pumpkin, squash, and zucchini. Rosids, fagales evolve. Ancestor of many flowers that produce edible nuts. Birch, hazelnut, chestnut, beechnut, oak, walnut, pecan, and hickory. Birds, galliformes evolve. Chicken, turkey, pheasant, peacock, quail. Birds, anseriformes evolve. Ancestor of ducks, geese, and swans. The ancestor of all placental mammal, Laurasia evolves. The Rocky Mountains start to form. Rosids, malvales evolve. Ancestor of okra, marshmallow, durian, cotton, balsa, and cacao. Rosids, sapindales evolve. Ancestor of maple, lychee, mahogany, cashew, mango, pistachio, and the citrus trees, orange, lemon, and grapefruit. Ornithopods, hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs. Laurasia insectivora evolves, ancestor of shrews, moles, and hedgehogs. Theropods, dromaeosaurs evolve. Raptors. Marsupials, New World opossums. Afrotheres, aardvark. Asterids lamiales evolve. Ancestor of many spices: mint, basil, marjoram, oregano, rosemary, sage, savory, thyme, teak, sesame, olive, ash, lilac, and jasmine. Marsupials, bandicoots, and bilbies. Two theropods are top predators: Tyrannosaurus rex in North America and Giganotosaurus in South America. Marine reptiles, mosasaurs evolve. Birds, Podicipediformes, grebes. Placental mammals, rabbits, hares, and pikas. Placental mammals, tree shrews and colugos. Largest pterosaur, Quetzalcoatlus. Mass extinction. End of the Mesozoic and start of the Cenozoic era, and the end of the Cretaceous and start of the Tertiary period. Start of rapid diversification of mammals. Birds, Gruiformes, cranes, and rails. Marsupial moles. Marsupials, Tasmanian devil, numbat. Marsupials diprotodontia evolve. Wombats, kangaroos, possums, koalas. Placental mammals, rodents evolve. Rodents myomorpha, rats, mice, gerbils, voles, lemmings, hamsters. Primates evolve. Opposable thumb. Birds, Strigiformes evolve. Owls. Laurasiatheres carnivora, ancestor of cats, dogs, bears, weasels, hyenas, seals, and walruses. Primates, tarsiers. Birds, Apodiformes, hummingbirds, swifts. Birds, Pisiformes, woodpeckers, toucans. Birds, Passeriformes, perching songbirds. This order includes many common birds: crows, jays, sparrows, warblers, mockingbirds, robins, orioles, bluebirds, vireos, larks, finches. Afrotheres, elephants. Afrotheres, manatee, and dugong. Laurasiatheres cetartiodactyla evolve. Ancestor of all Artiodactyla, also called even-toed ungulates, camels, pigs, ruminants, includes deer, giraffe, cattle, sheep, and antelope, hippos, and all cetacea, whales, and dolphins. Laurasiatheres perissodactyla evolve, also called odd-toed ungulates, horses, tapirs, rhinos. Rodents, beavers. Rodents, dormouse, mountain beaver, squirrel, and marmot. Birds, Psittaciformes, parrots. Horses evolve. Last common ancestor between hippos with dolphins and whales. Earliest marine mammal. Laurasiatheres chiroptera, fruit bats, echolocating bats. Rodents, Old World porcupines. Himalayan mountains start to form. Ambulocetus, an early whale. Birds, Falconiformes, falcons, hawks, eagles, Old World vultures. Rodents, New World porcupines, guinea pigs, capybaras. Ancestor of all primates, New World monkeys, sakis, spider, howler and squirrel monkeys, capuchins, and tamarins. Dogs evolve. Birds, Cuculiformes, cuckoos, roadrunners. Toothed and baleen whale lines split. Toothed whales include dolphins, sperm, and killer whales. Baleen whales include blue, humpback, and gray whales. Cats evolve. Primates, true lemurs. Ancestor of all primates, Old World monkeys, macaques, baboons, mandrills, proboscis, and colobus monkeys. The ancestor of all hominoids, gibbons and hominids, loses its tail. Monotreme echidna. Monotreme duck-billed platypus. Hominoid proconsul. Primates, gibbons. Earliest extant hominid, orangutans. Hominids, gorillas evolve. Hominids, chimpanzees evolve. Last common ancestor of chimpanzees and humans. Hominid ardipithecus, earliest bipedal primate. Hominid australopithecus evolves.